Hello friends, Coach Bob here today, and today we are going to be talking about insurance and maintenance and the cost associated with that sort of thing. Is it really cheaper to operate a motorcycle? Some ways it is, some ways it isn't. Anyway, we're going to go for a little ride on the Speed Triple today and talk about those things right after this. So maintenance on a motorcycle, it's a lot different than maintenance on a car. I'm going to tell you, every time you go for a ride on a motorcycle, you're supposed to do a pre-walk around check of that bike. You're supposed to check the tires, the lights, the brakes, all of those things, and make sure that everything is operating normally. Maintenance on a motorcycle is a lot more critical. There's a lot more going on there than meets the eye, and it's a lot less forgiving than a vehicle. So always understand that maintenance on a motorcycle, although it may seem simple, it can get very, very involved. So let's talk about the things that we have to do as riders first. And the first thing you're going to have to do is your chain. So the chain on a motorcycle has to be cleaned and lubricated. Now, for the motorcycle that I'm on, it recommends that lubrication is necessary every 200 miles. Also, after riding in wet weather, on wet roads, or if the chain just appears to be dry. When you're doing that, you also have to clean that chain before doing it and wipe off all of the excess mess and then lubricate it. I use Motul. Now, I don't think there's anything magical about the Motul products that I use. They simply be the ones that I use. That's the one that the dealer that I purchased the motorcycle through. That's what they had. The chain cleaner is roughly $10.40. You can order that online with no tax and free shipping. Also, you can get the chain lube for around $12. Also, no shipping, no tax. If you order, over $30 worth of stuff. You figure you're going to go through a couple of cans of each a year, so that's $22 times 2 for a total of $44. The chain adjustment you're capable of doing on your own, so you won't be having to take that in. It's just something you have to think a little bit about. On a motorcycle with a single-sided swing arm, it's actually quite simple. And with the double-sided swing arm, a traditional swing arm scenario really isn't very complicated. So the next real item you're going to be looking at are tires. The rear tire you're going to get around 3,000 miles out of, at least on this type of motorcycle. That back tire for the Pirelli GT that I'm looking at right now, they've got it on sale for $210.99. And then like I said, you'll get 3,000 miles out of that. The front tire I'll probably get 5,000 miles out of. I'm looking at right now $148.99. So that brings you to a total of $285 for the pair of tires, and that's prorating the front tire for a 6-month type thing because it'll go 18 months. So with the chain lube and the chain cleaner and the tire, that brings you a total of $329, and that's not counting any dealer setup or tire mounting or balancing. So the traditional things you look at with any vehicle or typical oil and filter changes. With this particular motorcycle, they say you only have to do it either annually or every 10,000 kilometers. With me, that's going to be annually, which is around 3,000 miles. This uses a premium synthetic oil at $11 a quart. You're going to run almost 4 quarts, so you're looking at $45 in oil, another 15 for a filter basically. If you do it yourself, you're going to drop around $60. If you have the dealer do it, it's going to cost you about $100. The manufacturer is going to have their suggestions, or actually their requirements if you're going to want your warranty to stand beside you, of what you need to do. So Here is the actual annual maintenance checklist for my particular motorcycle. Everyone will look a little bit different, but they all have certain similarities in them. Anyway, check it out. You can pause the video, look at it, see exactly what you think. But that's what it looks like. Big service that you're looking at every couple of years, or every 12,000 miles to be more accurate, that you're going to be looking at that's going to cost you some coin, is the one that you have to do your valve adjustments. Again, that's every 20,000 kilometers or 12,000 miles roughly. And that's going to cost you between $700 and $1,000 depending on who your dealer is and what they're charging and the type of motorcycle you have. So you can expect that one to cost you. Now, of course, I'm putting 3,000 miles a year on my motorcycle. That means that in 3 or 4 years, I'm only going to have that done every 3 or 4 years. So I can certainly absorb that. So I'll go on the high side of that and say $1,000. Now, of course, that $1,000, because that year you won't have to have your oil change done because it will be done with this $1,000 service, you can subtract 100 from that, and that makes that $900. So anyway, so that is a total of $225 a year. Now, if you tally all of that up, that comes up to a whopping $615 a year, or $51.25 a month. Now, that's what it will cost you basically, on average, to operate a vehicle of this type. That's if it's paid for. So, all cars, all trucks, all vehicles cost something to maintain. You've probably never really sat down and thought about it in this way, but this gives you a clear-cut way of seeing what it actually costs to have something like this. So now for insurance, the last thing. And you know what? The insurance on a motorcycle is pretty cheap. It really, really is. I pay $30 a month. I did not shop around. I believe that if you went through Progressive or Geico, you could probably get a better rate. I have a local insurance agent that I've used for years. I pay $29.99 a month, so $30 a month for full coverage. It's a pretty good deal. So there are all of your operating costs. So now you're looking at the $51.25 plus $30. So that's $81.25 per month. So there you have it. Your total annual operating costs broken up into monthly payments. That's what it actually costs if your motorcycle is paid for you to operate it, minus the cost of gas, of course. Gas, again, I've said this before, I don't do great, I don't do terrible, but it really isn't a lot less expensive than my car to operate as far as gas is concerned. I get, on average, about 30 miles to the gallon, sometimes a little less, sometimes a little more. Sometimes I'm known to get 37 miles to the gallon. It's just very rare because I like to put my wrist in it, and you will too. So until next time, this should give you something to think about. Go out there, find the motorcycle of your dreams, look at your budget, and plan it. Remember, failing to plan is planning to fail. Now, you go out, have a great time, get fit, and seize the day.